Josh D'Amaro says the new Avengers ride is going to be epic. Should we believe him? Let's talk about that and the new tax the city of Anaheim is proposing. This plus some park science, a little bit of shawarma, and more light crowds. This is our State of DCA report. This is Fresh Bake. Now stay tuned for that conversation about Josh D'Amaro's comments on Avengers Infinity Defense. We're gonna talk about that when we get to Avengers Campus. But first, we're here on Buena Vista Street. Let's get a vibe check. And that vibe check is happening at 11:32 in the morning here on a Monday morning. 77 degrees out at present. Temperatures have been getting a little better. It's getting a little cooler around here, but I do expect it to heat up again. What's also heating up, I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at Buena Vista Street right now. That is a lively crowd, and it's a $142 ticket day today, which I believe is tier, I want to say that's tier 3, tier 2 or tier 3. Lively crowd. And that does reconcile with what I was seeing earlier when I was getting my B-roll. The parks have definitely picked up a little bit, I think. My expectation as we make our way through the whole park is to find things to be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more crowds than we saw in the previous updates. And that's what we do here at Fresh Bake. This is our State of DCA report. I'm your host, David. And in this report, if you're not familiar with these, we're going to spend the next hour or more taking a complete tour around this park. We're going to go to every land and every attraction, and we're going to talk about some of those new things we mentioned in the intro, and then we're going to be looking at queues, doing a little park science, trying to analyze if it's a go no go kind of situation, and just give a general idea of what's happening. What is the state of DCA today as we record this? And the state is, it's a little bit happening. It does reconcile with what I found on Friday when I was shooting our construction update on Friday. I found the queues to be just a little bit longer than they were in previous weeks. I found the crowds to be a little bit more, the streets a little more full. And that's, hi guys, how are you? Hi.
Let's get a picture.
Yeah, of course. Energy is high also with fans of this show. I hope you guys are ready for this. We're heading down Hollywood Boulevard next on our way to Hollywood Backlot, where I do have another conversation to talk about with respect to Avatar. But first, take that in. Look at that. Guys, that is a happening Hollywood Boulevard right now. This is the busiest I've seen this street in months. Not counting, that space on Oogie Boogie night when we were here between like 3 and 6, where it was kind of bonkers, but that's typical, an outlier as it were. I have not seen this kind of intensity here. Not that to say that this is super crowded, it's still not. This is still a very gettable park today, I'm sure, but it's just nice to see people showing up and enjoying the parks more. Happy to see this. Now, we talked in our last episode about the new attractions, the new lands, etc., that are coming to DCA. DCA is on the verge of one of the probably the biggest update to the park. Well, probably even bigger than the Cars Land update when they did Buena Vista Street and Cars Land, because that was just the one land, although it was a very big, important land, and then they updated Hollywood, the Buena Vista Street, well, whatever it was before. Did it even have a name? This is going to be way bigger than that. We're talking 4 or 5 new attractions, a new land-ish. That new land being Avatar, and it's back here in the Hollywood Backlot. And I've got good news with respect to what we might hope to find here. All this will be Avatar. Well, maybe not all of it. Most of it is going to become Avatar land. And my concern was that, it still is really, is that it's not enough space to really do justice, to really build a complete and fully immersive land that really brings value to guests, like as opposed to just one attraction and one thing. I want to be in a total and complete environment, and I've always been, this is why I didn't want it to come here. I wanted them to build it in Disneyland Forward, and that, in the Symbolot, to give it more, just to give it more value. But the space that we're looking at here is about where it's going, and then into the transportation hub. The good news, vis-a-vis the comments that I made about Tokyo Disney Sea and its expansion in Fantasy Springs, the Imagineer who was responsible for that, and for a lot of what you see at Tokyo Disney Sea, which, by the way, is widely regarded as the single best Disney theme park, the single best castle park, if you will. Tokyo Disney Sea is a destination for Disney Parks fans. So, it's the best themed, it's the best done, that it has the most, fully rich theming. The Imagineer, who was responsible for that, and again, a large part of Tokyo Disney, is going to be here at DCA designing Avatar. And that's great news. That Imagineer is Emily O'Brien, and this is the image that they have on the website. You look up Fantasy Springs on the Tokyo Disney website, that's what you see. I don't think we're going to get something as glorious as that, because we're talking about, 3 attractions and a hotel. We're not going to get anything near that. Hi guys, how are you? Good, brother. Like I said, it's possibly just 1. If we're lucky, 2. Space is limited. They had a significant more space there at Disney Springs, or Fantasy Springs. But the bottom line is that the eye and the artist is going to be what's in charge here. And, Avatar is inclined as a property to look good. That's the whole point of Avatar. People aren't watching the Avatar films because of the great acting, or even the storytelling, which is kind of borrowed from other stories, Dances with Wolves, Fern Gully, etc. It's not exactly, it's not an Oscar winner in that sense, but it's beautiful looking. And that's why, for me, I've always been a little bit concerned about that, is because the whole point of Avatar, the attraction that people have to that film franchise, is that it is absolutely eye-popping, right? It's breathtaking to look at visually. And you don't want to see Disney, not doing that justice, as I mentioned. So I'm really excited to hear that we have an Imagineer of that quality working on Avatar. Now, having said that, we got some park signs to get into. That busy Buena Vista Street and Hollywood Boulevard suggests to me we're going to have a large wait here, and I'm seeing 45 minutes on the board right now. At our usual time to be checking these queues, it's almost always right around noon, and it's 11:42 as we record this. There's the back of Lightning Lane, which is a bad omen for anybody getting into this queue. You don't want to see, oh my gosh, that's just so many people, and it's dense. Look how tightly packed they are for a Lightning Lane queue. Now, part of that is because they pulse guests in there. It's not a constant moving queue because they have to hold people at the gate. So you do get compression, something that we look for often. As for standby, I mean, they're using about half the queue, but it's that 45-minute wait is due, obviously, to how popular Lightning Lane is today for this attraction, and I would expect probably as we move into the park. But they're only using, the last 1, 2, 3 planters are empty, which is good if you're standby, because at least you're not getting the full experience, but it's not so great because you're going to have to be waiting for a lot of these Lightning Lane guests. I will say though, I think this is still a go for me, if only because I'm seeing things from the perspective that you're probably not going to be getting a lot of breaks today. I think we're going to be seeing more queues like that, more long waits, and sometimes you just have to pick your poison. Hey guys, when you just have to pick your poison, then you're just looking for any sort of discount that you can find. Half that, 3 of those planters down, that's a reasonable for Monsters, Inc. Pretty good wait here to get an adult beverage too. Guys, use mobile order. You just walk right up. Practically no waiting. I just can't figure it. I can't figure why people are so resistant to using mobile order. In this year, the year of 2025, when digital ordering is pretty much the norm, my son showed me his phone. He's got he's got a whole page on his phone dedicated to apps, to fast food chain and restaurant apps that he can mobile order and just go pick up his food. He doesn't go in, he doesn't go through the drive-through ever. Well, except to pick up his mobile order, I guess. But he doesn't actually order there. And I feel like that's becoming more the norm, but for some reason it's not translating here to the Disneyland Resort. Takes us to Mission Breakout next. There goes Bravo right now, opening up for guests. They've been running all 3 elevators here, all 3 lifts for the past few weeks. And as I've mentioned in previous updates, I do expect that to be the case through the end of the year, and possibly, seeing one of those gantry lifts go down in January. in spite of that, I do expect to find a healthy standby wait here. Taking a look, I can see over here in the distance that it says 45 minutes. 45 minutes is pretty good. I don't mind seeing 45 minutes for Mission Breakout because that, it has the potential to be 55, 60 minutes. Let's go look at the back of the standby. Well, the back of the queue here, Mission Breakout has lost containment. It is now out here into the extended queue, the exterior, not quite wild space, it is roped off, but that is not a good sign if you're here. And if they're calling that 45 minutes, I would be quite surprised. I didn't really see, let's go look at Lightning Lane. By the way, I asked the question maybe a month ago if you get 2 Lightning Lanes, one for Mission, one for Monsters After Dark. I don't ever use it Lightning Lane, so I'm not as caught up on that, but I think I heard or saw some comments after that saying this, you can use 2 Lightning Lanes here, because one of my suspicions was that, well, people are saving their Lightning Lane, so you're not getting a lot of action there. They're saving it for Monsters After Dark, but it sounds like you can use both. But I'm not seeing anything. Lightning Lane is completely empty right here. All right, let's take this show into Avengers Campus proper and have a little bit of that discussion that I was talking about. Josh D'Amaro made some comments on Disney's. They did a show for the 70th anniversary on ABC last night. And it was your standard fluff piece about promoting and hyping Disney, but there were a few pointed comments made about some of the things that are happening here in DCA. And specifically, he talked about Coco, he talked about the Imagineer coming to Avatar, and he talked about, Josh D'Amaro talked about Disney, I should say, Avengers Infinity Defense. That big monolithic structure that they are putting up as we speak on the other side of the blue wall there, backstage in Avengers Campus. That is going to be Avengers Infinity Defense. And there has been fear amongst many Disneyland fans, Disney Parks fans, fear that they're going to make this big old attraction and it's going to be kind of a miss, that it's going to be too reliant on screens, too many screens, not enough practical, imaginative Disney Imagineering like we had grown accustomed to in attractions past. The trend lately has been, more screens, more simulator type attractions, and I have to say that the peaks that we've been given, the concept art and the little animatic that they've made does suggest that there will be a fair amount of that. But when you consider the size of the building, you've got to also believe that it could be more than that. You see, I just can't imagine that they would do all this for a simulator. There's going to be some movement in there, obviously. And it sounds like Josh D'Amaro is promising something in that line. He said his exact words, Avengers Infinity Defense is going to be at epic scale. Now, again, this is a very large building, and it kind of compares, I think, scale-wise, in terms of just the size of the building itself, to maybe Cosmic Rewind. That's an enormous, probably the biggest building that I've ever seen for an attraction, but that's a coaster. This is not a coaster, and you need a lot of space for a coaster. I'm inclined to believe him. I'm inclined to believe Josh when he says it's going to be epic scale, because as far as I know, this is not a coaster. It's going to be, I don't know if it's trackless exactly. We haven't really confirmed. The way that the teases that we've given sounds a lot like the Peter Pan ride at Tokyo Disney, at Fantasy Springs. Do I have that right? I think that's right. I don't know my international parks as well as I should, which is kind of lo-fi when you think about it, but it's probably not exactly the same. But my guess is, thank you. But my guess is they're going to use it in a different way. But that the vehicle type and the ride through and all that. So what you do find there are a lot of screens in that ride, but there's also a lot of practical effects. There's no way they could fill that entire building up with nothing but screens. There has to be something large and impressive in terms of set pieces, set decoration, something that is at epic scale. By the way, let's not go ahead and gloss over the fact that he used the term epic. I feel like, because these things, all of these comments are scripted, right? They're not just winging it. Josh D'Amaro's not up there in front of the camera just riffing. Okay, he wrote the word epic in his comments. He wrote the word epic. This is going to be epic. He could have said something else, large, impressive, whatever, but he chose the word epic. Are they trying to draft off of Epic Universe? I mean, or are they just trying to say, well, I don't know what he's trying to do there. I really don't know, but it's a fascinating choice of words that he used. But I'm inclined to believe it. They also said that guests are going to be face to face with Thanos. Now, the concept art that we've seen doesn't really give us any indication on how real that is. It's all drawn, it's all concept. There is a giant Ant-Man in that concept art, giant Ant-Man. Now, I feel like that has to be a screen. There's just no way. But what if, like an AT-AT in Rise of the Resistance, what if inside there we watch them build a giant Ant-Man? Face-to-face, Thanos suggests to me practical. That's what it suggests to me. When you say face-to-face, we're gonna see Thanos. By the way, I thought Thanos wasn't gonna be in this ride, but I guess he is. I thought we had a whole new villain, but we're back to Thanos again. Anyway, so there you go. That's the latest from Avengers Infinity Defense and Avengers Campus with respect to what they're building here, which I'm will be ready to go by the time they finish Doomsday, which, by the way, also practical shooting has completed. They've finished their shooting. Now they got a long way to go because that's the easiest part. Now they got to add in all the special effects and all the CGI and all that stuff. But this attraction and that movie right around the same time. Could be by the end of next year. Let's pop into Pym Test Kitchen real quick. See how things look on this afternoon. It looks dead in here. 8, 10 guests maybe total, maybe 3 or 4 groups, maybe 5. Not a lot going on here. Still not a lot of tables out here though. This might be one of the hardest places to eat. Or I should say Avengers Campus in general, because I mean there are a lot of tables, but a lot of them are outside. So in the summer or in the hot weather, man, it's, you know, the shady seats are hard to come by. Look, Shawarma Palace. You know, I have not. It's time for lunch. Let's get something to eat. Hey man, I'm in the mood for a little bit of New York's tastiest. So I'm a completionist. I like, you know, video games, movies, series. Like when I watch a series of movies, I like to start it from the start to finish. Marvel, I have to start at Iron Man and just go all the way through when I watch them, Star Wars, everything. Food-wise too, here at the Disneyland Resort, I'm on a mission right now to try to eat everything in a land or everything at a restaurant. I thought we were there. I had my last meal here at Pym Test Kitchen, which is where we're sitting. And it was the not so tiny chicken sandwich or whatever. Okay, so that completed Pym Test Kitchen, but then I realized, you know what, I still haven't eaten everything in the Avengers Campus, or at least I don't have video of me eating everything in Avengers Campus, so I stopped at the Shawarma Palace, whatever the thing. I got the New York's tastiest chicken shawarma. Now, the reason why I'm making this note is that I haven't had this since the land opened. Actual literal opening day, I haven't had this sandwich, so I've been dying to try it again. They do have another, they have the Impossible, which I may or may not get into, but there you go. That is the chicken shawarma. And it is just as advertised. It's shawarma with chicken, and that's about it. Seasoned a little bit, and as you can see there, it's, you know, but it's mostly chicken. And then the tzatziki sauce is on the side, which is good. I wouldn't mind if they put it in the sandwich itself, just make it light, but I think they can't do that because it would affect the integrity of the pita and everything if it sat out there for a little while. So we're gonna get into that. Cheers, Fresh Baked. After our first taste, that was thumbs up. That was very, very delicious. The pita bread is hot and doughy and fresh tasting. The chicken is good. It's great even. But I really love that first bite. But I feel like it might be more because I love tzatziki sauce more than I love shawarma, because it is just kind of, you know, standard pita and chicken, but it's the sauce really that makes it delicious. And now, having said that, that pretty much makes this a very simple dish. It's basically hit or miss. Is the pita hot and fresh? It's fantastic. It was great. Is the chicken hot and fresh? It was very good. Is the tzatziki sauce good? How do you fail at that? I don't know. But this is, you know, a very basic thumbs up, easy to choose choice here. Matter of fact, I want to take a look. We'll describe it for you. Shawarma Palace, that's right. Shawarma Palace, this is New York's tastiest chicken shawarma wrap with garlic hummus. So there is a hummus sauce in there, and it is present. You can taste that, but it's not overwhelming at all. Served with fresh vegetables and cucumber tzatziki sauce. Well done. Obviously, this is fantastic. By the way, I did mention fresh vegetables. It's more like a tiny little salad. There's no dressing in there that I can tell, but it's just basically those vegetables are lettuce, cucumber and red onion, and a tomato that I will be passing on, and that's it. So basically, it's a tiny little salad. I'm not sure why they don't call it that. Maybe because people will think, oh, we're going to get a proper salad. It's not. And there is a little bit of dressing on there. It's like an oil, some kind of maybe a vinaigrette or something like that. And it is nice tasting, and it definitely balances out the meal, because this is very much four notes. Pita, chicken, the hummus, and the tzatziki. All in. I mean, I got no complaints. And if I got no complaints, that sounds a lot like a 5 out of 5 to me. Cheers, Fresh Bake. Let's get back to work. Let's check in on Web Slingers, which, by the way, is one of those attractions that people use to suggest that maybe they're not going to do very well. But Disney was constricted. They tried to use a show building, an existing attraction, to put this in. They didn't have a wide open space like they do back there for Avengers Infinity Defense. By the way, that was a 30-minute posted wait time. Completely empty out here. No guests in there. Matter of fact, oh my, this is one of the quieter queues I've ever seen back here. There's nobody. I think it's open. You know what? Let's go take a look. I think they're expecting to send guests back there into the blue bullpen, but they're not. Oh, they did chain it off. Okay, so it's not even open. They've closed this off, so guests are not in here. That's great. This is an absolutely a go situation right here, and not even all of this. It's not even fully compressed. Oh, pardon me, the queue looks kind of like it's over here, but it's actually more about there. And they're flowing freely in there. This is light. This is the goest I think I've seen Web Slingers ever. At least not on a day on a time when it's supposed to be slow. And there's nobody. Well, 5 guests in Lightning Lane right now. After seeing the Lightning Lane at Monsters Inc., I thought we were going to be in for a heavy Lightning Lane day, but that is just not playing out so far. That is not playing out at all. We saw nobody in the Lightning Lane for Mission Breakout, and we saw nobody basically in the Lightning Lane for Web Slingers. And with that, that is Avengers Campus. We'll make our way out, check in on the queue for the Spider-Man meet and greet. Looks pretty standard, pretty normal. I think, matter of fact, it's maybe a little bit standard plus, because I'm not even sure if he's meeting guests yet. I don't see him. Or unless he's down there with a kid. I love Spider-Man because he does that. He gets down there at the kid level, and that's wonderful. You don't get a lot of characters doing that, but Spidey does. He's awesome. And I mean, watching him sit with those kids and doing the Spider-Man poses with them, and they get to do that with him. That's just, he delivers. Hey guys. I mean, that's just delivering on the promise, is what that is. You have a certain expectation. I'm gonna go back. You have a certain expectation. Look at this. He comes out and gets the guest. He doesn't wait for them to come to him. He comes out and gets oh my gosh, how wonderful. What an experience that must be. But I was saying, there's a certain expectation that you have when you're gonna meet Spider-Man. There's a certain minimum that you will hope to achieve. And he delivers every single time. Spider-Man might be the single best meet and greet in the entire park. Cars Land is next. Ooh, that's a bit of a crowd coming out of here. Hi guys. Good sized wait there to get your picture taken in front of the Cars Land sign. Route 66 is looking a little packed. Like to see it. Wow, I can't even see the end of the street. How about that? I can't see down to the end of the street yet. Oh my gosh. Wow, wow, wow. As for tow meter, we're still getting a 10-minute wait though. Bye. Posted 10. And they are not using any of those rear switchbacks back there. They're making a left turn. That's always a good sign. This is a go situation. But then again, I've never met a situation at Mater's Junkyard Jamboree that wasn't a go situation. Looks good, easy peasy. Come enjoy the second best ride at California Adventure. Oh, maybe third best. Fourth? I don't know. It's underrated, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, you've got Radiator Springs Racers, right? And then probably, what, Credit Coaster? There's Toy Story Midway Mania. Some people swear by Soarin'. I'm not a fan. But that's got to be up there. You put it up there. Get it higher on your list if it isn't already. We'll pull over. The Cozy Cove Motel. Oh, hey, we can go peek inside the windows. There's no meet and greet happening. We don't get to do this very often. You can't do it from the backside anymore because they've got the cashiers there now. Can we see inside? Is it too glary? Too glary. Well, at least from the position that I was in, I couldn't get over any further to the right. I know that there are filters that I can put on my lens, but you guys understand this is a Pocket 3. Those things, those filters, they don't exist for this camera. There are ND filters, but that's the different thing. I think you need a polarizing filter for that, which there isn't one. I can't add any kind of filter onto this camera, nor can I do it on my phone. So I have to do the best I can. Looks like things are popping a little bit here at the Cozy Cones though. Oop, pardon me guys. We got a 5 deep queue here, another 5 or 6 deep queue there, but there's not a lot of waiting, which is great. Either that rush is new or they're being extra efficient in getting guests in and out of these Cozy Cones. Because with that size queue and as busy as we've seen it so far, I would have expected a few more guests here. Let's go check in on Flo's V8 Cafe. All right, so things are looking not quite as I was expecting. I mean, it's busier, yes, but it's still not like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. Obviously, at 1:18, we're gonna check in on Flo's V8 Cafe. It's a little bit past the lunch rush, but not by much. Where 2 weeks ago, there was nobody in here, 0. We are finding a queue. A pretty standard one, average, I would say, average looking queue. Sometimes we'll see, make a couple switchbacks back there, but that's, you're looking at maybe a 10 or 15 minute wait to place your order there. And that's quite similar to what we found at Pim's Test Kitchen. And also, obviously, what we just saw at Cozy Cones, where it was very light there as well. I'm waiting for that moment to say, oh my gosh, look at. I don't think we're gonna find it though at Luigi's Casa della Tires. Never have I said it's too busy at Disneyland or DCA because of Casa della Tires, because of Luigi's. It's posted 20 minutes right here. Well there you go, that's something. Oh my gosh. When's the last time we saw that? Look at that, you guys. It's a full queue. It's past the threshold. This is usually my no-go territory. Anything outside of that threshold there, typically for me, is no-go. I mean, it's still going to be probably 20 minutes. That's still an easy attraction to hit, but it's beyond my threshold of what I would normally, I guess, tolerate. But at DCA, there's so few rides. Sometimes you just go for it. But that's beyond. I should just say. That is certainly beyond average. That is beyond typical by a fair margin. And there we can see that queue is definitely full to the brim out here. They are using it's very tight and compressed. That's, I don't know, man. That might not even be 20. That could be 30. 20 would be 6, 7 rotations. No, 5 or 6. Yeah, no, maybe 4 or 5. I want to say it's a 4. I think it's a 4-minute launch to launch. So that's 5. That is not 5 rotations. That's more than 5, I think. Meanwhile, bad news is still the word of the day here on Route 66 and Cross Street. Radiator Springs Racers is still closed, so there's no analysis to do there. But the good news is that they're almost done. If you follow our weekly construction reports on Mondays, you will know that we've reported that the track is complete, scrim is all or the scaffolding is completely gone everywhere you look here. So that part of the operation is complete. I think right now it's just about testing vehicles. One of the visual indicators that I've been looking out for here is the waterfall. It's been off every time I've come through here for the past month or more, but today it looks like we've got some waterfall action there. It looks like it's running, looks beautiful. It adds a completely different element to this because you can hear that water, and when you don't hear it, it kind of sticks out. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy not hearing water running where it should. And that makes me happy. I am very happy right now. Very happy to know. I think it's going to be on Friday. We're going to be here for our construction footage on Friday. I'll be riding on that day. Look for a video on tours departing daily. I'll be sharing that video there of our ride through. And then also look on our app, freshbakepresents.com, for updates on this, the construction project is here and other things that are happening. We are putting up a bunch of updates there and talking to our friends and our fans on the website on freshbakepresents.com, the app there. So join us. I hope you can. And now we have just found our way into San Fransokyo, where if I'm not taking crazy pills again, I know that they took some tables out. The tables used to come all the way out here to like right about there, but I feel like they've maybe taken some more out. Have they taken more out? This space seems quite a bit more wide open than it did just 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna have to do a before and after. I'm sure I've got me coming through here on a regular basis. So there should be some reference footage I can see here. Hopefully I'll get to that on this visit, but that does look more open. Good to see folks posted and waiting for Baymax. We didn't see that last time. How do you get rid of tables out here, by the way? It's already hard enough to find a place to sit at San Fransokyo. And they've taken more tables, perhaps? Okay, so Casina is next. A reasonably sized queue there. That's the back of the queue right there. You're looking at maybe 15, 20 minutes to place your order there. Please use mobile order when you can. I am asking you nicely. You could either stand there and wait for 15, 20 minutes, or you can get on the app, place a mobile order right now, and get your food in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't know how you fight that. Wow, Lucky Fortune Cookery is pretty dead. Now again, it's a little bit later here than the lunch rush typically is, 1:27, and there is nobody. Is there? No. Yes, there's one guest actually in the queue. Those guests are just looking at the menu. There's one guest in standby, so you don't need a mobile order here. That's for sure. We'll cross the street. There's more people in the streets though, guys. This is definitely the case. I am finding myself having to, weave my way through the crowds more than I have in months. So that's still a true thing. Let's see. We'll go pop into Aunt Cass really quick. And more of the same. Three guests in the queue waiting to pick up. Mobile order, obviously, ready to go. So that's San Fransokyo. I had a couple of different talking points for today, two of which we've already covered with respect to Avengers Infinity Defense and Avatar in the backlot. I don't know if you guys have heard, there is talk with the Anaheim City Council of charging a tax, a Disney tax, an entertainment tax, but it's really a Disney tax when it comes to the city of Anaheim. They're proposing to tax tickets, actual entry tickets and parking. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but first we're going to cross this bridge. One of my favorite parts of my daily or weekly journey here. We're going to cross this bridge and we're going to take a look at the tip board. All right, checking this tip board at 1:39 in the afternoon. Let's go find an attraction. Golden Zephyr, 5 minutes. I can see it's running. It's a walk-on. Goofy Sky School is closed. Wonder what the frequency is with which we see Goofy Sky School closed when we sit down here for a look at the tip board. It's pretty regular, it feels like. Grizzly River Run, 45 minutes with a return time in just about an hour and a half, maybe a little less. Mission Breakout is down to 25 minutes. Now again, I mean, you can do both. So people must be saving their ride for Monsters After Dark, which starts at 3 p.m. Incredicoaster, 35 minutes. We walked on. We were in our car, and I think about 7 or 8 minutes 2 weeks ago. It's at 35 minutes right now. We'll check in on that. Return time of now. Marshall Warman is 10 minutes. Jesse's Critter Carousel, obviously a walk on. Jumping Jellyfish, a walk on. Little Mermaid, 15 minutes. Actually, the queue looks kind of healthy. I turn around and look. I mean, it's probably still 15 minutes. We might do some park science there. Oh, let's see. Mater's is at 30. Oh, no, sorry. Luigi's is at 30. Oh, get back. Yeah, man. We saw it at 20, and I said, no, it's probably not 20. It's probably more. And it looks like that the cast members have agreed. Mater's is 15. And let's see, Monsters is at 35. That's actually down from 45 earlier today. Return time an hour and a half. Pixar Pal around 15 minutes. We'll drive by there, but I don't see any guests out there waiting. There's certainly no backup. Redwood Creek. Why is there a posted wait time for Redwood Creek? Why do I keep doing that? Okay, why do they have Redwood Creek Challenge Trip? There's no wait. There's never a wait. Why? Anyway, Silly Symphony Swings 5 minutes also. Man. Okay, so the big rides are still doing okay. Soarin' is at 50. Hour and a half return time, hour 40. Toy Story Midway Mania, 35. That's pretty standard. But look at that return time. That's 5 hours. So people they're buying it and they're using it just for Toy Story. Let's go back. Obviously, I feel like Mission Breakout is going to be. Oh, they already took it off. It's gone. Oh no, it's not. It's Guardians. My fault. Now they're saying no standby and no multi-pass, no fast pass. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. But still, fast pass is sold out. Lightning Lane is sold out for original, and they'll probably open that up for Monsters afterwards. Okay, so getting back, Toy Story. Okay, Web Slingers, 30 minutes. Nice. Well, that's it. We're done. Take care. So that's the tip board here at DCA. The park, I mean, a little bit busier than we've seen, certainly, but still a very gettable day. Not a very busy day here at all. All in. I mean, there are a couple of attractions, Soarin', etc., where like, oh my gosh. And by the way, this is in spite of the fact that Radiator Springs Racers is closed. Where are all those guests going? You know what they're going? They're staying home. They're waiting for this attraction to come back open on Friday. Wait till we do our next State of DCA report. We'll see what happens there. I had mentioned before the tip board break that I wanted to talk about a tax initiative that's happening here in the city of Anaheim. The mayor has said that they need to make more money. They need more money on the books to fill up the city coffers, the general fund, I think is what they call it. And she's proposing a tax on ticket sales and parking. And I'll go ahead and quote the mayor. She said, "It's important to me that we continue to generate revenue, not on the backs of people who live here. So I'm not really interested in a sales tax initiative." That's sort of a dichotomous statement. What does she mean by people? Well, obviously she means Anaheim residents specifically. So she doesn't want to institute a local sales tax, which I get. Nobody wants that because that affects every single person. But I'm kind of wondering if she could safely say that, because this is very much a locals park. Now, I consider myself a local, even though I don't live in Anaheim, but I am a local. But I would not be affected by this. Or I should say, I'm not really contributing to the city of Anaheim, am I? I guess that's the question. Should we, as guests of the Disney parks, be supporting the city of Anaheim? And I kind of feel like maybe we should. Like at first blush, I'm like, yeah, this is a locals park, and so it affects locals more than it affects the out-of-town guests, especially when it comes to tickets and parking. Out-of-town guests, travelers coming in from other countries, other states, they're not parking. They're staying on the hotels and walking in, so they're not affected by the parking tax. But I would be, right? I would be paying that as a resident of a city outside of Anaheim. It affects me, not the Anaheim guest, unless that Anaheim guest, that Anaheim resident, is actually also going to Disneyland. I wonder how many of their residents are actually in the city of Anaheim. I would be willing to bet it's not that high. Now, I don't know, I don't want to get into the politics of this, as is usually the case. I try not to as much as possible. So I don't know if she was pro or con Disney when she was running. I feel like in my back of my mind, because I followed that candidacy, that race, back in 2022, I want to say, and I feel like she was backed by Disney. But I guess my question to you is, do you want to participate as a visitor coming in from out? Hi, how are you? As somebody coming.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? As somebody coming in from out of the city, out of state, out of country, do you want a portion of your sales going to the city, not to Disney? Disney's not paying this tax. You and I are, and it's going to the city. Because I feel like Anaheim could use a little more blushing up. I do think that. It looks fine around, but the city of Anaheim could use more. But that's the other question, where's this money going? They didn't say. And then, by the way, she's only proposing this goes in the ballot. The residents of Anaheim are going to vote on this in the end, and they're going to decide. But I guess the bottom line there is they're probably going to vote yes because they're not the ones paying, right? So why not? Get off that conversation, get back to work. We're looking at a Cretacoaster. We saw a posted 35-minute wait time, but there's nobody out here on the pier. Nobody out here. Nobody in the bonus section. This, by the way, the threshold is about 35 minutes. This is 35 minutes right here. If you're in that part of the queue, you can look to wait an actual 35 minutes. They're only using half of the risers here. So that's a good look. This is, half that queue. This is probably 15 minutes. And that is a go situation. Let's see if they've changed the wait time since we checked the tip board a few minutes ago. Yeah, it went down from 35 to 25, although it's not that either. But basically, you can expect 35 minutes from right here. If you get in the queue, and the back of the queue is right here, and you go through all this and all the risers and all that, you can expect to wait about 35 minutes. So anytime you see that number on the board, that's your basis point. You see it halfway up the risers right there, that's 15 minutes probably. I didn't get to make this observation our trip here 2 weeks ago, but I'm so very happy that Incredicoaster is back after that little refurb that they're doing. There they go. That right there is an amazing sound. This land, Pixar Pier, is not the same. The whole park is not the same without it, but specifically this space, that energy that it creates, not just on that launch, but everywhere else, as it makes its way around the tracks, hearing those guests and that coaster moving around Pixar Pier it makes all the difference in the world, changes the energy here completely. Oh, look at that. Mr. Potato Head is off stage. I have not heard any news on that, so I don't know what is happening there, if anything specific or cause for concern. Posted at 35 here at Toy Story, that's how we found it. We'll look at the tip board, and I would say it's less than that even still. We've been doing a considerable amount of recon here in the recent times, and what you're seeing out there, that little group of guests is maybe 5 minutes. You're looking at 16 minutes inside, 21, 4 or 5 more to the house, you're looking at 25 minutes, which, by the way, it goes without saying, that is a go situation. Anytime you see the queue that looks like that, definitely go, unless Lightning Lane is not just full here, but maybe out into the common area, out there into the walkways. Then you can start talking about maybe it's a no-go, but that's by no means the case here. Once again, we've got another attraction with nobody in the Lightning. Well, I should say there they are right there. There's 4 or 5 guests. Now, this was a 5-hour return time, so it does say that people have booked it. They're just not using it right now. So there is a little bit of cause for worry for that if you're standby. But if I'm at Toy Story, if I'm at DCA right now, I'm absolutely getting into this queue. Man, still, the closest thing we've had to a no-go today was the 20 minutes at Luigi's, which is now 30. Go do something else, man. Go do something else, then come back and check on Luigi's later, perhaps. And Mater's will always be available, so you could skip Mater's while you're at it. Take this tour next. to the Pixar Pal Around, where it's posted 20 for swinging and 10 for non-swinging. That's not what we saw on the tip, where we saw 15. And this is nothing. I've seen it busier at 8:30 in the morning than I'm seeing right now. I've seen it busier at 9 than this. This is definitely a go also for swinging gondolas. That's great. Anytime you can get these two ramps clear, you're looking good. But especially, the back of the queue is at the exit sign way down there. I feel like anytime you're inside this turn is good. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. But they've got that and the stretch going up the wall. That's great. Guys, you're having no wait at all here at the Pixar Pal Around, hardly. So we've talked about Coco. It's going over here behind the Pixar Promenade, back behind the Incredicoaster over there. That's where they're building that. There were comments made in the show last night. The Disney special that they aired, the little fuss piece. Bob Iger spoke about Coco, actually, and he said, it's going to be great. Let's go next to Emotional World. 10-minute posted. I just wrapped it up, but basically he said nothing at all. He just said, hey, that's great. 10 minutes, that's about right. That's about 2 rotations right there, maybe 3 on the outside, but they haven't brought anybody up here. So part of that queue, the part that's about the red pole, that's going into the next rotation. So you got 2 more after that. Silly Symphony next. No waiting here at all. They said it was 5 on the tip board, and it still is. These guests are going to they're probably going on they're going to go on the next swing, I think. I didn't see anybody up there. Maybe a handful of guests at the top of the stairs, so they're going right on. Looks like the same is true here at Jumpin' Jellyfish. No guests waiting, only guests in the next ride pens. This I was not ready for. We're at Goofy Sky School. This I was not ready for. That's a posted 15 minutes. Look at that. Wow, wow, wow. It was 35 on the board, 35 when we checked maybe 30, 45 minutes ago. And that is just an absolute go right there. Nothing here, nothing obviously in the garden. It's just that switch back up and half of this one going in. That is incredibly light. And once more, no lightning lane whatsoever. There's nobody, 0 people in the lightning lane queue right now. My early expectations are slowly shattering. Slowly shattering. I thought after Monsters Inc., I'm like, oh, hey, we're back. Yeah. And all those people, I mean, it still is busier in the streets. Look, certainly this is more guests in the streets than we've been seeing. But just look at what's happening in the queues. I like this, though. I prefer this. There's another walk-on, Golden Zephyr. And at 2:07 and 83 degrees out, that's hot enough to get a good sized queue here at Little Mermaid. This is definitely exceeding what we've been seeing in other attractions, which are, by the way, mostly exposed. Most of the queues here at DCA are outdoors-y. I think no matter what we find on the posted wait time, we're gonna do a little queue science here. We're gonna compare what the posted wait time says, measured against what the actual is, and then we're gonna enter it into the Park Science tab on the freshbakedpresents.com app, link in the description. Join the community. Keep us up to date on what's happening both with regard to construction and what's happening in the queues. You can contribute to the accuracy of the posted wait time versus actual wait time conversation. And we are seeing a posted wait time of 15 minutes. We'll note that and then get a clock started. See what the actual is. There you see again, posted wait time 15. I'm gonna guess we'll be at our clamshell in 10 or less. No guests here in Lightning Lane. We're sending in a steady stream of standby guests. I have not yet technically found the back of the queue. We have not stopped moving, which is good. I don't really like. I define the back of the queue as where people stop, because it compresses, that kind of thing. So we're still going, which is great. And it looks like we're just going to go to the end of this one and make a U-turn back, and that's it. We're not going under the sea back there. U-turn complete. We've been in the queue now for 3 minutes, so I would expect it to be less than that before we get to the door, perhaps. I'm expecting, yeah, we'll be in the door by 7. This is going a little slower than it was coming in because we were closing in. We did stop for a brief moment, so I'm gonna guess 7 minutes to get to the door total. Never fails. I laugh because it doesn't bother me, but I can't tell you how often it is that I'm stopped right at the limit line before so they can let in a couple lightning lane, which they just did, and then I'll be going in next. And we're into the doors in 6 minutes, so just under my estimate, but that was actually 3 out and 3 back. And I would guess no more than 3 to make this little U-turn here into the clamshells. And we have arrived at exactly 9:02. Well done.
There was lots of dancing and singing. Well, that was fun.
Part of that world. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's-its and what's-its galore.
The fish is happy, as off through the waves they roll. The fish on the land get happy, and the sad goes they roll. Play the top, the flute is the root of soul. There and then you can play the leaves on the street. The drum rocking out the blackfish sing.
In love with Earth, we sent her to the right place. Yes, Earth.
They called me well a witch, but you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways.
To ride on a moose, girl. So good to see you. We hope you had a wonderful time.
All right, Little Mermaid. That was 9 minutes against a posted 15. Let's pull up the freshbakepresents.com app, which I have already loaded here. We're gonna click that little DNA link at the bottom for Park Science. And then we can just sort of find Little Mermaid locations nearby. There we go. Little Mermaid's Undersea Adventure. The average savings on here is 7 minutes. Right now I'm saying go is under 20, and then anything over 45 is no go. But I mean, really, it's never like that. The average posted wait time is 15.9 minutes. The average actual is 8.8, which agrees almost exactly with what we just found, meaning that is the typical queue that you find. But let's go ahead and add our effort on there. We're gonna hit submit wait time. Posted wait time was 15 minutes. The actual was 0 hours, not 90, 9 minutes, and submit. And now we have done our part. Done our part to contribute to the historical average for Ariel's Undersea Adventure, which our part is confirming 15 minutes posted, 9 minutes actual. Wonderbar. Taking this show then to Redwood Creek next, where we get to walk through a little bit, kind of take things down a notch, unwind a bit in the relaxing confines of the Redwood Forest. I can already feel I can already feel the pressures of the rest of the park leave me at that threshold. And it's going to be even better when we get to the rear of this space. Still set up for Villains Grove, but it's nice. You don't even notice it. But that's the better that I was talking about right here. Kidding me? I mean, tell me that does not make all the difference. I spent about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes in here on Friday, just taking this in. I was shooting my construction. I wasn't even, it's not even part of my construction report. But I just wanted to chill in here. Got some B-roll, put it up on, I don't know where I'm putting that, on some channel. But I shot a bunch of B-roll here, just showing the river and really everything that is Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. Probably tours departing daily is probably where that's going to go. Or walk through Redwood Creek, tours departing daily. There's a link in the description for that as well. If you want a little more of that, if you love that as much as I do, tours departing daily. Link in the description. I already said that, but I'm saying it again. Let's get back to work. Let's go check out Grizzly River Run. Thank you. The sound of that lift hill is pretty chill for me too. I do enjoy that. It's very rhythmic. So underrated, this. The whole land. And by me as well, I should say, because I don't go on these, you know, I don't do Soarin' very often. And I definitely don't do Grizzly River Run very often. "60 minutes posted." Here we go, finally. We got some action up in here. 60 minutes. Standby. We've waited almost all day. Well, pretty much, yeah. We haven't seen a solid queue yet all day. So 60 minutes for a Grizzly River Run. And we've been here on hotter days than this. Significantly hotter days, and it was still a shorter wait. But are they in the office, right? Are they in the office? Probably not. Wow, look at that. I think they are. Hey, all right. They are in the office. That's my breaking point. Like, if you could stay out of the office, you're doing pretty well. But on a hot day, you're going to find the office to be full of guests. And that is the case today. It is full, and they are posted. They look like they've been there for a little while. But still no geysers. Again, if you've been following our construction reports every Monday, we talked about this on Monday. The geysers have been off now for at least a month, maybe more, maybe 2 months. I have not seen a geyser in quite a while, which bumps me out because they weren't working for so long, or if they were really short, they weren't really powerful. They weren't working for such a long time. We thought we would never get them back. They finally brought them back. They were glorious. These, cloud-touching, skyscraping geysers. And then before we could even get used to them being here, they were gone again. I don't know what the problem is. I know it's not negligence, but there is just something difficult about maintaining a proper geyser here at Grizzly River Run. I haven't seen or heard a raft go by in a little while though. I wonder. Well, that's unfortunate. I know there's rafts out there because they were going up the launch, the lift. Yeah, I agree. You don't want to ever hear that. You don't want to ever hear the guy talking over the loudspeaker like that. Oh, now I hear one. There we go. I think he was telling everybody, sit down and get ready, or we're gonna drop you. The guests have been released. There's probably gonna be a whole bunch of them here in a row. There we go. I wish they had more water on that last drop there. They've lowered the water over the years. And I guess that means we're gonna wind things up at Soarin' Around the World, and I can see from here, light. Goodness. That's posted 20. Wow. That says 20 minutes, and the guests are going in, they're making a U-turn, and they're heading right in. And that's loose. That's not even, we're gonna be here for a little while, 20 minutes out here in this section. They're going almost straight into the door. Unbelievable. Do they add a theater? Are they running 3 theaters now? That is just so unexpected. And again, it's not an entirely slow day today either. There are people in this park. They're here. They're just not in Soarin'. And that's a get out of the heat ride right there. And back we've come full circle to the Carthay Circle Fountain. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you guys had a great time with the show today. Hope you learned something. Stay tuned for more Fresh Baked. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.